All right. How's everybody tonight? Uh, Waiting on Kirk to come in right now. Um, he's having a little trouble with StreamYard. We have a guest that's going to be with us tonight. We're going to talk with a little bit about her encounter and some feet print that she's captured and stuff, and should be able to show them on there. I think you guys are really going to enjoy those stories, and we also have some personal encounters we're going to share tonight, and just do a lot of encounters tonight. Uh, it's going to be, I think, a really good show. We're going to have a call in tonight. Should be a surprise. We're expecting a call in around 8 o'clock, and I think it'll be a surprise to everybody. Hey, Mindy. Hey, Wendy, Sky King, Brandy. Good to see you tonight. Henry, Sheldon, April. Um, I think you're going to be. I think you're really going to like tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing what the footprint is that this guest we have tonight is going to show us. Kirk is joining us. Looks like he's coming in right now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Kirk and them in right now, and I also have some more information. Let me bring Kirk in right now, and then we'll bring in our guest.
Good
Hey,
evening,
Kirk.
guys. How you doing, Mike?
Doing good. I was just letting
Good.
everybody know we got some things coming up. This Thursday, there will be a members only video drop. You will be able to see it if you're a member first. And then if you're a non member, you will have to wait till Saturday at noon to be able to see it. And the live that Saturday night will be over that video. I've got a good one picked out. Should be a fairly lengthy video. Kirk actually gave me the idea for the video. I will tell you this much: it is about a werewolf within the United States. And Kirk may know what I'm talking about, but we talked about it earlier, and I think it's going to be a great conversation piece. Let's just say that it puts scratches in metal. Does that tell you where we're going with it, Kirk?
Oh, I know exactly which one you're talking about. Very famous case.
I thought you might know where I was going with that.
Oh, yeah.
Um, let's see. Is there anything else we need for an introduction? You think is there anything that you can think of we need to put out there? I told them we got a special call in coming in tonight. It's going to be a
We have
surprise.
a special call in
Not going to
coming
say who
in.
or what.
And we also have Shelly, who is one of our longtime listeners. She will be on tonight, going over some strange occurrences that are now happening at her house. And I think people are going to find this interesting, especially given where she lives. Um, these things can come in the city. They have no problem doing that. When she sent me that
Well, let's
picture,
go
it
ahead.
literally sent shudders down my back. You know, it's something she's got to be very careful with.
Yeah, she said she has a picture to share with us.
Yes.
Have just a little bit of lag on your end, Kirk. So I'll try not to talk over you if you're talking. We got a little bit of a delay.
I don't know why. I've got full internet. Everything's fine. I mean, there should be no reason whatsoever.
There's always something it seems like with us when we try to do a show with a guest. Uh, let's go ahead and bring Shelly in.
Sounds good.
Hi guys.
Good
Hello,
evening,
Shelly.
Shelley.
Hello. How
Hello.
are
How
you?
are you? I'm good. It's nice weather out here in Colorado, about 73 degrees. Other than the footprint this morning, I'm doing great.
Wonderful.
You're gonna come in and brag about your weather. She's gonna tease us.
Well, it's been a nice day. Lately, it's been nothing but rain and hail, so for days on end. Yeah, it was a good
Oh
day.
wow, wow. Sounds like you might have had a visitor last night.
I sent the picture to Kirk, and I told him I don't know what to make of it. You want me to go ahead and show everybody now that picture? Because I really don't
And
know what to
Do
make
we
of
want to
it.
show them now, or do we want to talk about it?
I don't. Doesn't bother me. I mean, I have nothing to say other than it wasn't there last night, and it was there this morning. And about 3 weeks ago or so, I guess, Kirk, I found a
yeah,
large dog print looking print, just one, just like this print only has one print. And it's in an area that my dog, number one, doesn't have that feet that big. Number two, she never goes up that
Right.
little area that it's where the rain collects down and washed away all the gravel they have around these rocks that are there. So it made like a big gravel area. And when I went out there, there was one big dog print there. And I've never seen a dog that big ever, especially around here. So I don't know what to make of it.
well,
Yes,
and the
isn't
Yeah,
it?
thing
if you want to, you
is,
can go ahead and show your photos.
Okay. Here's the one from this morning. Can you guys see
very
that?
narrow, three-toed print.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very, very narrow.
I don't know what that is. Never seen anything like that. But like I said, it's skinny
It,
and I'm a size 11 shoe, so it's an 11. So I don't know what to make of it.
wow. Did your dogs have a fit or anything last night or this morning?
No, but she will not go out back. She will not go out there at all. So I have to take her out front. She refuses to go out back. Daylight doesn't matter. She won't go out there.
Very
So
So
uncharacteristic
there's something
for
out
her.
there she doesn't like.
Yep.
something, but from where I live, I was telling Kirk, there's no mountains, there's no trees around where I'm at. Nothing. Just see if I
As I said, these things anymore have no problem coming into the city.
I guess I don't know. It scares me. Let me see if I can find a picture of what it looks like out there, so you can see what I'm talking about. That there's nothing there. Let's see. Let me look here. Well, it's like a little mini clip video. Did you want me to play that or?
April,
Are you near a
sure.
military
Yeah,
base, Shelly?
let me get this. April Black wants to know.
Yes, I am. Air Force Academy is just a matter, maybe not even 10 miles from where I'm at, on the other side of the interstate, I-25. I don't know what to make of it.
And the significance of that is this very well may be some type of military experience. Or I'm sorry, experiment.
Oh my God, I
Uh,
hope not.
but to me, the fact that you get one single footprint from whatever that is, 3 weeks ago, you had one single footprint of a probable Dogman, both times facing in the same direction.
Yep, coming towards the house.
Yep. That's very telling. It's like something is trying to send you a signal.
I don't know what, and I don't know why. It's not like I've never been
Right.
out doing investigations. I had one Bigfoot encounter in 2005 south of here by about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours on Cordova Pass. And that's it. Other than my interest in Bigfoot since I was, 8, 9 years old, and I'm 61 now. So, and getting all this information from you guys, you've helped me out a lot. It's like scare the pants off me.
Right.
Motion lights. I don't have motion lights. I do have security cameras inside the house.
It scares me sometimes. You never.
It's. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. I
agree. Putting motion lights up outside would
I might.
help keep this away.
Okay, I can do that. Like I said, I've got security cameras inside the house, and they're pretty much all of them pointing towards the outside. Got one in my room that points towards the window. One in the kitchen, and one out here points towards the patio door. So I've never seen anything.
I think that probably goes without saying.
Yes, I'm armed.
That question there.
I'm armed. I'm also ex-law enforcement, so I'm armed.
Probably so. Yes. And you have a short video clip
of where I live.
The video shows where she actually lives, what the surrounding terrain looks like. And that may be interesting to the viewers because that will actually show that this stuff will come right into the city.
I'm looking for it.
Right.
Okay, I'll start it right here. Okay, Kurt, you can see I'm coming out the patio door, and you can see there's nothing around here. Big old field over there. Other than that, nothing. Black Forest is where you're looking now, is to the left, up where you can see the green trees, but around here, nada. Okay, Kurt, you can see. So I'm coming out that was that patio door. Yeah, you can tell that. Like I said, a lot of the stuff that I've read and stuff that I've heard and on YouTube or shows that I've watched, they're pretty close to some type of wooded area, and I'm not. So it really boggles my mind how this could be taking place right out here. I have no idea.
It's almost like maybe it was walking on the ground in the dew this morning or something, and walked up on your porch and probably left a print, maybe.
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah, it's like 5 feet from my grill.
And like I said, each time it's only one print.
Right.
By my way of thinking, it's trying to send a message of some sort. And because it's two different creatures,
right.
Who is directing these things? I
don't know. I've never been involved with anything or anybody having to do with any kind of supernatural stuff. I'm a Christian. I don't know where this stuff's coming from. I really don't. All of a sudden. So.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Shelly. At one point in time, I want to say it was late last fall, several times on your way to work, there was one particular area that gave you a very bad feeling, shall we say, as you went by it.
That's very true. That's very true. And it made me feel like I was going kind of nuts. I don't know how else to put it. It's like, I don't know if I believe in this mind speak business, but definitely got the threat of somebody puffing up their chest. And I'm not one, it's flight or fight, I'm going to fight. I'm not one
I'm not sure what's going on.
Me neither.
Okay.
What was that?
That was a little strange.
Yeah, very.
Huh. What was that? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My heart's beating in my
Something
chest.
is going on with Mike's camera or his internet, shall we say.
Okay.
And right now he's working on it,
Woo.
which, I don't know, seems when
I don't
we
like
touch on some topics, this happens.
Yeah, I didn't like the timing, that's for sure.
Right.
Hmm.
Are you able to see and hear me right now?
I
Yep.
am.
Okay, something happened. I got kicked completely out on my computer. It shut my computer down.
Whoa.
Not sure why. Kurt, can you let our guests know that they'll have to call your phone in order for me to be on right now? I happen to use my phone, and I won't be able to get a call on it.
Sure. I'll be
I'm not
right
sure
back.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay.
So, is the footprint by a window, Shelly, where it might be like looking in at you? Maybe you think?
Both of them were approximately 5 to 7 feet away from any window. And I don't typically keep the windows shades open at nighttime anyway. And
Right.
certainly not in the bedroom. There's never been any, well, there's a bunch of rocks there underneath I'm in my downstairs. I live with my sister, and my place downstairs here is an above ground basement. So when you walk out, it's just a bunch of like big rocks. There's nowhere you could pick up a print around the windows.
Wow. Have you heard any noises or anything around your house? Like any unusual noises or anything been moved or?
No, the only thing that's happened was like Kirk was saying, I was working on night shift. I'm back on days now. But during the night, I would, at that time I was going to work, it was dark out, obviously. And you just get that feeling. I remember just going like this, ooh, and looking around thinking, what? And then thinking I'm nuts. It's like, what are you paranoid? What are you, you think it's all in your head. And
Right.
like I said, if it's flight or fight, I'm going to fight. And so I kind of mouthed off to whatever this thing might have been around there. I don't know. And Kirk said that wasn't probably a smart thing for me to do.
Right.
Okay, we got something going on because I can't even do anything on my phone right now. It went into airplane mode.
Yes, that's what everybody's saying.
What?
How in the hell can that happen?
I don't know, but everybody in our chat is saying that they went to, look here, Barbie went to airplane mode. Everybody went to airplane mode. It shut me completely out. My laptop now is actually rebooting.
I literally cannot get anywhere, anything other than this page right now.
Wow.
I don't see nothing's happening on my end. The only thing that happened during that time was I heard my echo of my voice like in a screech on my end.
That's really weird.
That's very weird. And George, you very well may have a point there. If not part of the super soldier program, it may be something that, the military's involved. And with all the weird things that happen when we start talking about this kind of stuff, I wouldn't put it past our government of them being the culprit behind what's happening here right now.
Yeah, well, Scott, look what Scott said. I think Scott's probably.
Yeah, exactly.
her being in the location that she's at and close to an installation and talking about feet print may aggravate somebody.
Yep.
So probably next on the list, I'll see some black helicopters.
Yeah, and I'm using somebody very loosely when I say somebody.
Right. Right. That's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, Barbie said she's glad she's not the only one that it happened to. Let's see. We're gonna have to figure out a way, Kurt, to get that call in.
Maybe if I go off of here, maybe he can go on. Is it taking?
No, it's going to be a call in on a call that will be on speakerphone that we're going to air. I believe that's what we was going to do, right, Kurt?
Correct.
Yeah. You can't get a message out, Kurt?
I literally can't even get off the screen.
Face blue
Okay.
one, guys. What?
Sky Skiing, thank you very much for the super sticker. We appreciate that a lot. Let's see here. See what we can get done because we got to get that call in.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell is going on.
If you want to, Kirk, you can try to go completely out and get a message to him to call you, and then I will put you.
I can't get out the screen to even try to get to anything else.
Wow. So it won't let you do nothing.
Nothing. It's like it's froze on this screen.
That's what I'm dealing with right now too. I can't.
Are you both on your phones?
I was on a laptop. It kicked me, and
I'm on my phone.
I had to go to my phone to be able to continue.
My phone seems to be working fine.
Let's see if that does anything. I'm doing a security scan to see if I've got anything on there. I doubt. They said, Shelly, do you want to guess what kind of cryptid you think it was that maybe left that footprint?
I couldn't guess if I tried. I have no idea because it doesn't look like anything that I've heard of and seen pictures of. It's definitely not a Bigfoot, and I've never seen a true, authentic Wolfman or Dogman print, so I don't know what that
I don't think I've ever seen one that skinny. Have you, Kurt? That's a pretty narrow footprint.
Yes, and yes, and okay. A gugway is thought to have 3 toes, much like that does.
Okay,
That
yep.
is very much in the realm of a young gugway.
I remember now that you said that whenever we talked to the shaman that time over the Girl Scout murder case, they were talking about the 3 toes.
Yep.
Being this huge separation of the identifying from a Bigfoot to a Gugway.
Yep.
And they also said that the 3-toed one is going to be your face eater, which is going to be your more aggressive one. So,
Shelly, somebody tell you that earlier.
so we're glad to be the bearer of good news.
Well, I'll just keep my slugs loaded in my 12 gauge at all times.
Yeah. But you haven't been missing anything or anything moved outside or because they talk about they do like to move things, take things. They're like a menace too. They even on your roof. They said they like to get on the roof of your house. That was one of the things that they had talked about.
Well, I'm like on the bottom floor, so my sister hasn't said anything about hearing anything up there. She thinks I've lost my mind.
Well, you know, in the movie Silver Bullet, it was a lady in the second story that got attacked first. Not really.
Oh man! Oh man!
Oh, gee, Shelly, maybe you're safe.
No, something I'm sure that I'm gonna get him too.
Just don't be playing the piano late at night.
Yeah. Oh man,
Wow.
I just watched that movie the other day too.
Oh, that's my mom's favorite movie. We watch it every Halloween. It's been a tradition.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. You know, the thing that my mom seen, it was similar to that creature, and you know, she said, it scared her really bad. She was pretty young when that happened, and I guess it was I guess it'd be a werewolf or something like that. A Dogman, maybe. I'm not sure.
Hmm. I think you're frozen.
I don't know what is going on with this tonight, technically.
Yeah, I can hear you, Kirk. He's
I
frozen.
can hear you just fine, but it literally will not let me off this page.
Huh.
And my understanding of cell phones is nobody can put it in airplane mode other than you
Yeah.
because it's independent. It's not something that's done through the airwaves. So for this to go into airplane mode, I'm not touching the phone. The phone is propped up in a tripod. So nothing that I could do would put it in airplane mode. And nothing should have been able to put the other people's phones in airplane mode either. But yet, here we are.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
Ow.
How many people on here had that happen to them? Do we know?
It seems like when we hit on certain subjects that may be, shall we say, less than flattering to certain alphabet agencies or the government in general, this kind of stuff happens. And once more, and I really hate to say this, but things of this nature didn't start happening with you until we started talking about this. And then all of a sudden, you start getting tracks appearing.
I know, that's just really strange, the whole timing thing. I mean,
yeah,
it's not a coincidence. I don't believe in those.
Like I said, I don't believe in coincidences.
No, me neither. Me neither. Like I said, though, I'll take your lead and say you told me not to go outside at dark. I'm not gonna go out there in the dark.
Not under any circumstances go outside.
No, I don't care if I have my gun or not. I'm still not gonna do it. That's scary.
And I don't know if our moderator is froze up also, but I do know that Brandy, since she put up, I have my son trying to figure it out on my end. Nothing has changed. There has been nothing else come across. So, hell, I don't know if we're even getting out to anybody.
Let's ask. Are you guys in the room? Can you hear Kirk and I? Cynthia says hi.
Okay.
Brandy was thrown in airplane mode. And they say, yes, we can hear.
How in the hell can anybody be on airplane mode?
I don't know. I'm sliding off the stool I'm on here. Huh. Well, what happened is Mike having to reboot?
I don't have
No.
I do not have a clue. I mean, quite frankly, with the technical difficulties that we've had at times, it's never been this. It's never done this before.
Okay, on your end? Well, I don't know what we're gonna do here. We're waiting on. You want me to try to get a hold of Mike on my phone?
Yeah, probably better. I'd love to be able to. I mean, like I say, I don't even know why the hell I can't get off this screen.
I don't know either. I don't mean to laugh, but this is just ridiculous. Let's see. Okay, I just sent him one on Messenger. See if he comes back. I'll leave that there. Well, so what do we do to pass the time? Want me to tell us what happened in 2005 with the Bigfoot?
That would be great.
Okay. Let's see. It was
I'm
fall.
actually going to try something,
Okay.
and I don't see how it's going to have any effect, but I'm going to actually try to go outside, out of the house. I mean, I do have concrete walls and such. I don't think it should affect anything. But let me try now. If I pop off here, you'll know why.
There's Mike.
Well, it let me back in for now, so we'll see. We'll see how long it lets me stay.
I still
I had
can't
to
get off the screen.
authenticate that I'm the owner.
I still cannot get off this screen.
It's just weird.
Right. Yeah, you're in. It's probably me.
And I just walked outside. Right now we're doing this from outside. I thought maybe the concrete walls in there were having something to do with it. No.
Right. Is Kurt cutting out on your end, Shelly? Or is it just my end?
Just your end,
What's
because I can
that?
hear him fine.
Okay. Somebody said help you get off the damn screen. Poor Kurt.
Right?
I hope this thing will let
I don't
me
know.
out.
Yeah, because I have a lot of questions for Shelly. Of course, I always have a lot of questions. And look here, they are. If I can get it to come up. Oh, come on now.
Scott says good on their side.
They're not wanting me to put this up. There we go. Maybe it's not going to let me put it up. A person posted and said they're deleting my posts.
Right. That's not good.
So I don't know what's.
A person posted what?
I'm still working on it. They're deleting their posts as they're posting.
Oh.
Guys, I don't know what's going on.
I'm guessing I probably have a pretty big delay to you guys. I'm working on something. I'm going to go ahead and kill. Maybe I'm going to activate my VPN and see if that'll work.
Guys, I apologize for what's going on with this. I mean, our listeners and our guest Shelly, none of us should be going through this. This should be working. These technical difficulties, I don't believe are coming from anything we do. It's a mystery to me what the hell they are.
It definitely is that.
Mike, your ear froze again. There you are.
All right, we're going to try this. What I done is I went on my phone and I activated my VPN, and I'm running from 6 different locations. So we'll see if that helps.
No, evidently not.
Oh, wow. There he is.
Is it any better now?
You're
Well,
coming
we'll
in fine on
see.
my end.
See what happens?
Sounds okay.
Okay, I'm running a different VPN. I've got me set at 6 different locations. We'll see if that maybe helps if I'm bouncing around and not staying in one location to where they think I'm in one location. Just
That's
a
smart.
theory. Just trying a theory.
That's very smart.
And it seems like I'm getting a lot better reception right now, too.
Good.
Huh.
So we shall see. What I was wanting to ask you, and this is probably going to get us in more trouble, because what I'm curious about is, like, do you see a lot of, like, at nighttime, like, since you're by a military base, any weird things in the sky or anything like that?
I've only seen something once, and it was like an orb shape, and it came from the, let's see, what direction is that? That from the east towards this field that's out here, past that wall, and it disappeared. And I honestly thought it was just my eyesight, so I just kind of blew it off. But I remember it. I'm skeptical.
I'm very evidence oriented. You're like
Yeah.
me, you know, when you work in law enforcement security, anything that involves making arrests and going to court, you have to have evidence. And
Right.
you know, I'm that way big time. Kirk, he's called me hard headed several times.
I like the facts. I like left to right facts. You know?
And I call him bad grandpa with a glass eye. So,
The glass eye. Oh man.
so but and then a lot of people was really thinking he had a glass eye, so I have to be careful what I tease him about, because people take us literal.
I don't care. You know that.
And people are going to have to learn not to take us literal for sure. That footprint, though, reminds me, and I got to be careful how I say this because I'm no longer with this individual. Kurt knows who I'm talking about.
Yep.
I took her out to get an encounter, and she did not believe that she would be able to get an encounter. So I took her out and I told Kirk about it, and she actually got to see one drinking out of the lake. And after it left the lake, she walked over and placed her foot inside of its footprint, and we took photographs. Unfortunately, I do not have the permission to share those, or I would share those photographs. But the weird thing is, it also had 3 toes.
Really?
Yeah.
It wasn't that skinny.
Go away.
No, it was, yes. We're having a problem now, Kirk. Our guest is trying to get through to us, and I don't know what to do because I cannot answer and run the phone.
I can't even get off this damn screen.
You want me to type it? I can put it into live chat.
Yeah, we may have to. Do we just tell people who it is, Kirk, and let him know that we're having difficulties?
Yeah.
You think that would be okay?
Yeah.
Hey guys, we was trying to have Josh Turner. He was going to call in tonight and be on with us just a little bit. unfortunately, I'm not able to use my laptop right now. I'm on my cell phone, and that's the only way I would have had for him to call in. If you guys could let him know that we're having difficulties right now. I don't know if he could call Kirk's phone, if it would even ring. Um, I'm not even sure what went on. My phone went to airplane mode also. I had to reboot my whole system. That's why I was gone. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I would love to be able to get him on tonight because we'd had this all planned out. It was wanting to talk about something I felt was very, very important. And
It is very important.
It is. It's very frustrating. I don't know if Josh is in the room, Shelly. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see. He's probably live right now. I'm guessing.
Right. He is.
He is on. He is live right now.
He said he would be going on at the same time we did.
Okay.
Because he wanted his viewers, along with our viewers, to see what was going on.
Right. I could try the laptop again, and we can try to let him call in. I don't know what it will do. No, it's saying system error. It's not going to even let me into StreamYard.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, and he's still trying to call, and it says I cannot call while in application, or I can't answer while in application. So
somebody can give him my number. My phone is separate. I'm on my laptop. He can call this phone, and then I could put it on speaker, and you guys could talk that way if you want.
I'm trying to think how I would get your number without you having to put it out to everybody. And
oh yeah, you guys are both stuck.
Yeah, look here, people are getting unsubscribed.
Wow. Well, we got a major issue going on here tonight. Then.
Let's see here. I'm
This
hoping he will.
The last time we touched on a certain subject.
I'm hoping he will just call you, Kurt. Hopefully, he will call you, and it will work. I'm still trying the laptop deal. It's
Hmm.
We're going to try this because I want to get him in because we talked about it today and got everything worked around, and we wanted to at least have him on the best we can.
Yep.
The only other thing I could think of to do is for me to get on YouTube on my phone and go to whatever his channel is and go in the live chat and tell him that you're having difficulties.
Okay, I'm going to try this one last time. Let's see what happens. I'm going to see if I can. I'll be right back, Kirk. I'm going to try to come in on the laptop again.
Okay. Yeah, guys, doesn't it seem very strange when we start with certain topics, how we start having technical difficulties that are unexplainable? They actually, the one time, caused me to go out and buy a new tablet. And literally the next time I used the tablet, it froze up and then went to black screen. Brand new.
It says we have low internet.
Really?
Let me see. That's funny. I can still hear you, and I'm not even.
You're actually froze up.
Yeah, you froze up.
What the hell is that? What the hell is that? What the hell is that?
I don't know. Wow. I have no idea.
That's just about as weird as when me and Mike were talking one time, and he said that they're at it again, and we had a voice come over the phone and said, "Yes, we are."
Oh, wow. I can see you, Mike.
You there, Mike?
I can see him. I don't know if he can hear us.
Can you hear us?
Is that any better? Or am I still... I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you.
Must be just a little bit of lag, huh?
I think we can deal with a little bit of lag.
Yeah, we're going to get him on. I'm going to make a phone call to him just as soon as my phone comes up.
Somebody wants to know if there's a moderator in the room.
Look
Frida.
here. Josh is also having technical troubles on his platform. Right?
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Him having technical problems also. Imagine that. Somebody somewhere doesn't want this to happen.
I have a thought.
Let's hear it.
You wouldn't want two big communities talking. That's a lot of ears.
Yep.
All right. I'll be calling Josh in just a second. Everything's going haywire. Nothing wants to work.
Like I said, we touched on a nerve. Shelly, sorry you're on the spot like this. I mean,
that's okay. I just don't know what to say.
You know,
this is blowing my mind too. This is odd.
I mean, we've had at times technical difficulties, and there was never any explanation for it. We would change subjects, and everything would go away.
Wow.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello, Josh. It's Mike with that Abnormal. We're live right now. We've just been having so many difficulties tonight.
To call you back on Facebook Messenger, we can say it through so the fans can hear it.
Yeah, I've got you on speakerphone now. You're actually live.
Okay. All right. Well, you're on speakerphone here. I'll just hold the phone to the microphone. You know what? Where there's a will, there's a way.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're trying.
Excellent.
Mike,
perfect.
I just wanted to tell my fans we had a conversation earlier today. We talked about stories and all kinds of things. You and Kirk, and I thank Kirk, for bringing us together to the table to talk and like I said, sometimes evil works in a way that it ends up doing the will of God, and God uses them, and they think that they're winning, but they're not. Evil doesn't win in the end. We all know that.
That's right.
And we're very like-minded people. And tonight or today, and then a little bit last night when we messaged back and forth, I felt confident that we would be able to communicate and, be friends because you, I believe, form a viable function in the community, which I wanted to clarify that to your listeners. I'm not against people who do boots on the ground. That was never the case. Somebody took that and ran with it, and that's not what I'm about. What I'm about is actually the people who take credit for the things that you guys do, and they really do that. Everybody, and their dog was going around saying that they were boots on the ground, when there's really only a handful of people who are truly doing it, and it takes away from you guys. From the show last night, I understand why people were like, well, why didn't he let you speak? I understand you had trepidation because you didn't know what I was going to say. I'm liable to have gone on there and said all kinds of things, and you didn't want that on your show, and I understand. And we talked about it today. But I know in your heart that you and Kurt are trying to accomplish something, and I know that you're not bad people from what I can tell. And when you all were talking before it got into the stuff about me, I was agreeing. I was shaking my head and agreeing with most of what you were saying. And I was like, yeah, I like these guys. They're actually spot on about a lot of things. And we have way more in common than we don't. And I just wanted to say in front of my audience and your audience that, I hope to work with you in the future and do some. And I think what we do complements one another.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've watched you before. God, I've watched you since I can remember. I've talked to Kirk many times about you, and you're a very knowledgeable person, and you had, answers that I couldn't find sometimes. And, I would go to your channel because you have a lot of knowledge in history and stuff like that, to where I lack a lot in the history knowledge. And, you guys are doing a great job over there. And I really do. I think that we together we're stronger than we are apart. And, like what we talked about earlier. There's no need to fight. There's enough people to go around. Let's work together. I mean, there's enough people against us, 3-letter alphabet agencies, whatever, that don't want us to succeed. And together, we're just stronger.
Yeah. Can the audience hear him? It's kind of low. There's definitely a big difference in the quality audio. So maybe we should call him.
Well, I mean, if it's over the phone, it's not going to matter. If we can call him on Facebook Messenger, it'll be both clear, both on our end and on his.
Okay. So maybe if we called you on Facebook Messenger, they're saying that it would be a clearer audio.
Okay, yeah, we can do that if you need to.
Yeah, let me call you right now.
All right, man. Man, there's so many things going on tonight with all the, I don't know what's going on.
I can bet it has something to do with an alphabet agency.
Internet on my headphones, so I'll be able to tell.
Is that
you there, Mike?
Yeah, is that a lot better for you?
Yeah, that's a lot better. And I can actually not have to hold the phone to the microphone. Good, the audio sounds good. So, I don't want to dominate the conversation. I just wanted to say that, and I wanted to get it out there that, there are no sides to take in this, and we're going to move forward. Hopefully we'll cross over, do some, what do you call it? Cross-pollinating, whatever you want to call it. There's different words for it, cross-collaboration.
Right.
And I think you have a lot of interesting things to talk about. I was really enthralled by some of the stories that Kirk was telling today. I hope to get each one of you on there, and then also to work with both of you together. And I think that it would be a real treat for both audiences, because when you guys were talking, I wanted so bad to talk, and not about the boots on the ground thing. I wanted to talk what you guys were talking about yesterday. It was very interesting when he was talking about the witch with the finger, and I was like, that is the spirit finger thing. It was very interesting. And then when Kurt and me were having a conversation today, and he was talking about the Dogman Bigfoot war, that was very interesting. And I had some thoughts about that, and the gears in my head started turning. And I was like, man, I got so many stories and things that we could lay out there and look at, together objectively. And I do some of what you do. I've had to, especially with the book, I've had to go out to about 24 different places and actually do boots on the ground work. I did that also with the director here from NADP. We went out and went all over the place, Central Texas. I took Rick Atchestein to all these different places in Central Texas. You have to visit the sites, and it's just part of it. It's what you have to do. I mean, if you really want to take it seriously. And several years ago, I decided that I was going to do that and start doing, going out and taking it more seriously and being like, hey, I need to go where these things happen. Did I see anything or feel anything? I felt a couple different things in different places, but I didn't see anything. But that doesn't mean that they're not in that area. Especially near Granger Lake when I was out there going through the woods and, I brushed up against poison oak, didn't get it, thank God.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like it's there. You got to be careful. And then there's ticks and everything else. And when I was talking about boots on the ground, I was not referring to you guys or the Barton Nunleys or Nick Valentis of the world. I was talking about the people who piggyback on y'all's work. They go out there and they, just because they, either live in the country or they go out into their backyard and say, yeah, I'm boots on the ground. And then they kept pounding away on that boots on the ground to where it waters it down.
Right.
And it's very much like saying down the rabbit hole. You just keep saying it to where I'm trying to get away from saying it all the time because it gets redundant and then it just, everybody's saying it. And then it's like, it doesn't really mean anything anymore.
Right.
Once you get to a certain point, it waters it down. And no, I was not talking about you guys because you guys are people who actually go out regularly. But be honest, for all of us, everybody, how many people are there really, being honest, that actually do that? They say they do it, but that doesn't mean that they do. And then when you reject them from coming onto the show or whatever, or if they don't get to speak at the conference or be in your book, then they come back with, oh, well, I'm real boots on the ground. Well, a lot of other people are claiming that, and I was getting really tired of everybody saying that. Being a field researcher, out in the being a moniker of boots on the ground, that's not correct. And like I said, a movement was kind of started, boots on the ground versus Josh Turner, and that's not correct. That's not me. Most of my friends and colleagues do boots on the ground work, and by the loose definition of these wannabes, I'm very much a boots on the ground person, and I've probably done more than they have.
Right.
But I don't brag about it, and I don't go around saying that I'm you guys who do what you do. I have to spend a lot more time indoors than you guys do because of the show and because of the format and the stories. But I'm out every night, working and doing what I do. And we have very similar jobs. And I just thought we had a lot more in common than we had as, and I wanted to be friends. I'm like, dude, we should be working together.
Right. Nobody wins if we're fighting. I mean, it just stops information from going out. It takes away from everybody. It takes away from us. It takes away from the viewers. And, we just want to get the message out, and just share what we can, find. And, you may have answers that we don't have, and maybe we can have answers you don't have, and we can work together and maybe get somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And working with you guys, I think would be beneficial. And I would love to do recordings and do some live with you guys. So we're working toward the end of this month, you guys coming on the show, and then I'll come on your show, and we'll do, we'll work together and do some collaborating. So I hope, and also we need to figure out the schedule because now we're on at the same time.
Well,
I hope it.
I won't be on Sundays normally. We just done this because we had a hiccup yesterday and we couldn't get to what we wanted to.
No.
Yeah, normally we're just on Saturdays.
Oh, that's good, because I do Friday, you guys could do Saturday, and then you do Sunday, and maybe we can help each other out. And, and it sounds like something that started out rough, but, there's always room for forgiveness. There's always room. And when people have a misunderstanding, you don't have to go always away to some people that I work with now didn't like me when we started out, but the same thing happened when I was working downtown. There were people who didn't like me. And then now some of those guys, I call them my brothers, and they've been friends with me for over 2 decades, 2.5 decades. Same thing when I was doing the security business. There were people that didn't like me. I was their competition.
Right.
One guy folded up and he joined us, and I folded up another guy. And so we all just now we're under one umbrella. We all work together. And I'm not everybody's cup of tea, to begin with. Sometimes I'm a little harsh, and people are like, "Hey, this guy, he's got an attitude." But I do have an attitude, and it's against people who aren't what they claim. And when everybody and their dog is saying, "Hey, I'm boots on the ground," that's actually a slap in the face to guys like you and Kurt, because you guys are boots on the ground. And I thought that was understood and it was made clear. But sometimes my jokey nature, it gets to where it's convoluted. And when you got people telling you things that aren't true, and you think you trust that person because you think they're your friend, then things get real convoluted and things can go downhill real fast. I don't blame you guys for trying to stick up for boots on the ground. You guys thought you were fighting the good fight, and I understand that, but I am not your enemy, and I'm not an enemy of true boots on the ground researchers, which is why I had Nick on last night to explain, or the night before on Friday. And I do have respect for you guys, and I don't hold any grudges or any ill will, and I hope none of the listeners on your side or mine do either. And I hope that they understand you're a man, and so is Kurt, and y'all are going to do what men do. And when you feel a certain way, you're going to take a stand. That's what I expect of men, and you thought you were doing the right thing, and and in some respects, you did, because you thought that I was being rude. And on my end, I should have been a little more specific 3 weeks ago. Now, I was more specific this past week, just to clear the air. But I can understand where there would be a misunderstanding. And when I posted on Facebook, I thought I made myself pretty clear on there. But even then, some people who I consider old friends were kind of confused, like, what are you saying? And what I said on there was, well, if you are a person who hasn't had any experiences, or you can retell someone else's experiences, or if you're not asked or written a book, I really don't know what to tell you. I can't really use you as a guest, because you're going to come on, and this one individual, he was on in a conference with a colleague of mine, and I told you about this earlier, Mike, and he did that, and the audience, people were getting up and walking out. So you have to be able to entertain people to make them, your show last night, I actually really enjoyed the first part was enjoyable. The second part was a little hard to take, but that's because it was, but the first part was very enjoyable, and I think that you and Kurt do a good job.
We appreciate that, and like I said, there's no hard feelings. Let's just move on and do what we do, and let's just get the message out there. That's the main thing.
Yep, yeah. We need to work together. We need to all pull in the same direction.
Mainly working on right now, just we have a report that we're working on of a lady that had an encounter, and we also are looking at we're trying to figure out the spiritual side of it. We're working on the fallen angels and the Nephilim, the bloodlines, and is there a connection? Is there something that draws the two together?
Have you guys looked into the shofar horn?
I haven't looked into it. I don't know if Kirk has.
No.
Yeah, a good guess to come on and talk about that would be Kumbo Baker or Elijah Henderson. See, and now you guys need to collaborate with some of those people, because your boots on the ground experience is invaluable, and you can compare notes to some of these other guys who are boots researchers, and they have come across some really strange things being out in the woods. Now, you couldn't pay me to go and blow the shofar horn, because it supposedly attracts Bigfoot and Dogman. I have a theory about that, though. I believe that maybe Tiamat, I don't want to get into a long dissertation. But if I'm on the air on your show, I don't want to co-opt it. But if you look into who that was from the ancient Sumerians, supposedly she was the one that created the hairy man, and they were used as like the soldiers. And when you read about that, it could be something that was created a long time ago. And when the Israelites were in captivity in that country, which is Mesopotamia / Babylon, I think that they may have encountered the Shohar horn there and maybe taken it back and then written about it. But that's just one of my theories, because it could have been something that calls to them and brings them out. But it's something we can get into at some point on the show. And Kurt and you had some really interesting stories. Y'all have some really good stuff to talk about, and I'm excited. I'm ready to do some work, and I'm ready to put it out there, because the things we were talking about today, the listeners would have loved to have been able to pick up on all that and hear what we were saying. Right. But I'm sure that it will come. You guys will come on, and I'll come on your show, and we'll talk about a lot of different stuff, and we can help each other out immensely.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds good to us.
Yeah, I wish you guys the best. I'm going to let you finish what you're doing, and God bless you guys, and hopefully we'll do it again. I'll talk to you real soon.
All right, man. God bless you, and you have a good show
sounds
tonight.
Great. Have a great show, Josh.
You too, buddy.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, Kurt. I'll see you too.
Okay, guys. Everybody heard it. The animosity between Paranormal Roundtable, Josh Turner.
All right. We still got some delay.
Oh, he's gone.
Yep. There is no more animosity between the two channels. We have buried the hatchet, and really it was nothing more than a misunderstanding, and everybody has a, shall we call it, a macho attitude to defend themselves, and we were all defending ourselves when there was no need to. Okay, so with that being said, we are going to work together. We are going to help each other out. Yeah, at some point I will be on Josh's show. Mike will be on Josh's show. Josh will be on our show. I think they're going to be great shows. I think we can both help each other, and in doing that, I think it is going to give our viewers, our loyal family, a great show to see. It will definitely put out a lot of good information.
I agree.
But we still need to solve what the hell is going on at your place, Shelly.
Well, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I'm hoping it just was a fluke. I'm hoping it was. I don't see how.
Shelly, it's not going to quit.
It's not going to quit. Okay. Well, I'm a fighter, not a flighter. So.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
You there, Mike?
Looks like he's frozen again.
Nope, Mike's froze up. Unbelievable.
There he is.
Are we good now?
We're good now.
Yep.
All right. I didn't get to hear what you were saying. I was trying to get on my phone so I could do the VPN again, because my computer, they will not let me use.
Oh, I guess they won't. They're on to you.
Okay.
They think they're on to you, Mike.
It's frustrating.
Very.
Yep.
People wanted to know more about your footprint. I've seen a lot of people talking about, the footprint, and I'm curious about the footprint because I have seen 3-toed footprints before, and when me and Kirk had a really deep conversation about the 3-toed footprints. It came up a lot with the shamans that we talked to, And to them, a three-toed footprint was very common. And it's also, and see, here's another weird thing that we found out. And me and Kurt, we're working on this, but I want to go ahead and just talk about Girl Scout areas. For some reason, are hot areas for these cryptids. We have a lady that we're gonna have on the show. She's had some family issues and wasn't able to make the live like we'd planned, but she lives by a Girl Scout camp and very, very heavily traveled by a three-toed creature. And I don't know if it's the young girls that are attracting them, if it's the food, the leftover food. Whenever the Girl Scout camps aren't running, you have the empty shelters. I mean, it would be easy to stay in the tents and stuff during the down season. And there has to be something that's attracting them to these areas.
Are you in?
Thing is, to the best of my knowledge, there's not a Girl Scout area by Shelly.
No, absolutely not.
I did a search on that because that was something that came in my mind. And I mean, she's like 75 miles away from the closest one. So,
But she does have a military base by her.
but she does have a military base, correct?
There's Peterson Air Force Base and there's the Air Force Academy.
Yep.
Peterson's probably about 25 miles away. And like I said, Air Force Academy is about 12 miles away.
Right. We got a quick question somebody's wanting to know, and I'm going to go ahead and answer that, and we'll explain. Mary Perez wants to know, why aren't there as many moderators as there were, Mike? Well, the reason we don't have as many moderators is it's hard to get people to show up once they accept that, I guess, responsibility. They ask to do that, and we allow them to be the moderators, and then when we need them, they're not able to show up. And a lot of them quit on their own. And then we have the issue of people banning and putting people in timeout that should not be placed in timeout. Me and Kirk have this thing that if you're not personally attacking us, you don't have to agree with us. We will debate you, but a lot of moderators would see that, and they would, they would try to protect us, and they would get rid of them. That's not what I want to do here. I want to learn. I want to learn. I don't want to be, the socialist communist channel where I say whatever I say is right, because it's not right. I have a lot of things that I don't know. And, I want to learn right along with the rest of you guys. I'm not an expert in anything. We just have a channel to where we're trying to learn together, and I'm trying to share my experiences with everybody, and maybe we can all come to, a conclusion or an idea of what it may be. We have a question that says, is the Googway a mix of a Bigfoot and a Dogman that created a new species of cryptids, or is it completely a different cryptid? Kirk, I'll let you take that one. We talked about that a lot.
Okay. My thought on it, and there is some research to back it up. My thought on it is it was actually created by our government at Plum Island. It was either an experiment that escaped or an experiment that they let loose. There were a pair of Gugways seen by a Micmac family swimming ashore in New York in 1963. How it got the name Gugway. In Micmac legend, Gugway is a demon. The family that saw these two Gugways swimming ashore had the wherewithal to think to call the police and make a report. When the police showed up, because of the fact they did not speak real good English, as they were upset, they kept going back into the Micmac language. And as the cop taking the report asked them, what exactly was this monster you saw? The only thing that the husband / father could think to say it was a Dugway, which, as I say, means demon in Micmac language. Pretty much since then, that term has stuck with them. That's 50 years ago. And I believe in the 50 years, because of the fact they're in the wild, they're breeding, they have no natural predator. They're bigger than a Bigfoot quite often. They're stronger than Bigfoot. They have the muzzle basically of a Dogman. That's kind of why they're called face eaters. So, yeah, I really blame our government for them. And once more, our government needs to come forward and tell what they know about the cryptids.
And another thing we talked about, Kirk, that we were wanting to get into, and we talked about talking about this a little bit. I know you have a big interest in it, as I have a big interest in it. I talk a lot about my grannies and a lot of the things that went on, at the house, at the farm.
Right.
And I found a story, and you're going to know where I'm going with this, that reminded me a lot of my grannies, and it came out of Palmyra, Maine, if I'm pronouncing that right. I hope I'm not mispronouncing that.
Palmyra, Maine, you are correct.
They were under siege. I mean, there's no other really way to put it. They were actually under siege for a night.
Correct.
And if I remember right, all they done that caused this siege was they saw, I believe, lights in the wood line and went and checked it out, and they found like a den or something. I don't remember exactly what happened with the den.
Okay, they were out walking their dogs. The daughter and her boyfriend were out walking their dogs. They came across this den. The dogs were at first sniffing around the den, and then they were pretty well barking, raising hell, trying to get away from the den. The daughter and her boyfriend thought it odd. They turned around and went back to the house. Didn't understand why the dogs were reacting the way they were, and that night is when it happened. Unfortunately, the man did not have his firearms in the house because his wife was totally against firearms. She actually had him, they were locked up in the barn on the property, inside of a crate. So he would have not only had to make it to the barn, then he would have had to make it to the crate, get the crate unlocked, get a firearm out, load the firearm, and quite frankly, there wasn't a snowball's chance in hell that he'd have ever even made it to the barn.
Yeah, because she even made him like store the ammunition in a different area than the firearms.
That is true. That was in a second crate.
And another thing that reminded me of my grannies also is she talked about they were on the second story, and these things had came onto the second story roof and were at the windows, trying to look in the windows and try to see where they were at. And
sure, in Palmyra, they were on the roof of that house also, and it was a 2-story house. It was actually an old farmhouse. Yes.
I was telling you, when we talked earlier, when my granny had her stroke, I slept in the bed that my mom normally slept in, and she slept in the front room, and they would take turns, taking care of her. And I was sleeping where my mom normally would have been. There was an old water cooler there, not an air conditioner, but a water cooler. And I was, sleeping in front of it. And you know how the water coolers were, the old ones, you could see through them outside. Mm-hmm. And I could see the yard light through the cracks and all. And I'm laying there, and I noticed that the yard light disappears. And I hear something say my mom's name.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh, shoot. So
that's not what you said.
No. So I get up, and I grab my 30-30. My dad had bought me a 30-30 for Christmas. And I ran to my mom and I told her what I'd heard, and she said, well, let's wait and see if we hear it again. And we were quiet in the house. That's one of the things we had learned is you're quiet in the house because these things would follow you from room to room, window to window. So we learned to walk quietly. You don't turn the lights on, you know, but it seemed like there was always a floor would squeak or you would bump into something, you know, when you're trying to be quiet. Always something would happen. Well, we heard my grandma ring her bell, and she had a bell that she would ring when she needed something. So I get up and I look in Granny's room, and Granny's asleep. My mom comes in there, Granny's asleep. We're like, okay, well, maybe she rung it and went back to sleep, you know. So we're sitting in there and we're still listening, you know, to see if we hear this, and then we hear the bell ring again. We go back, Granny's still asleep. So we wake her up and ask her, did you need something, you know? She's like, no, I was sleeping, you know. So we stand there in the, like, kind of the little bedroom part and just waiting to see, you know, what the ringing was, and we hear the ringing again.
Right.
We noticed that whatever this thing was, it was ringing a bell, and it was up in the tree by my grandma's window, watching us walk past the window to check on Granny.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it had learned how to make Granny's bell noise to watch my mom and her sisters walk past that window to go take care of Granny. And it was up in the tree watching. And that's what reminded me of, you know, Palmyra, because we would be in the house many times at night and something would knock on the door. We would go to the door and nothing would be there. I mean, nothing. And we would like, okay, we would look out the picture glass window to where you could see the door to try to catch, you know, what was knocking on the door. And you would never see nothing go up to the door, but you would hear it knock. Well, one night we called my uncle. We would always call him when it got really bad, and he came down and we told him, you know, we're getting a lot of knocking and stuff like that on the door. We couldn't find out what it was. And us kids, you know, we were young. We're like, you know, is it a ghost? Is it a ghost? And he laughed and he goes, no, look. Up high on the door, the front porch door, we had two doors. You had the front porch, also had a plexiglass door. Right. On the top of the plexiglass was a smudge. And he shines his flashlight and he says, you know what that is? And I said, no. He said, that's an upside down knuckle. And I didn't get it at first. I was young. I was like, why would that be there? He said, because whatever's knocking on the door is on top of the house, reaching over, knocking on the door. It was trying to get us to open the door.
Yep.
And it would do that to the windows also. And the bathroom window was the worst. It actually stuck its arm in that window one night whenever my aunt was in there. She could see its big hand. And she said it looked like a very large possum's hand reached inside the window.
Yep. Not a human hand.
No, it was human enough, but enough that you could tell it was animal. You know, it was, and
I would almost just call it closer to a raccoon's hand.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and you know, you would hear it at night. I mean, you would hear this thing. It would try the door handles. I mean, it would actually turn the door handle and push on the door.
Yep.
And me and my cousin, we were playing outside one night. I'm going to end up ruining my book, but we were playing outside one night, and the front yard had a lot of trees, like I told everybody, which had a lot of shade. We had the yard light, you know, that was out front, and the yard light was shaded through the trees coming down into the front yard. You could still see, but it was like kind of a nighttime shade in there. Well, we were playing out there, and there was a fence that separated the front yard from the hog pasture where Grandpa had kept the hogs. Well, along that fence was nothing but honeysuckle. It was just full of honeysuckle. Well, we thought we heard something over by the honeysuckle, and I was playing with my cousin. He was a little bit younger than me. And I was like, did you hear that? And he's like, what was that? And we're like, sounds like somebody's over there. And so, you know, we're sitting there and we're looking, and He's a little bit closer to the fence than I am, and all of a sudden, it's like something grabbed the fence and just started shaking it. I mean, the honeysuckle was shaking, the fence was shaking, and you know the old hog wire. That's what they had for a fence, the big squares. And you know that sound it makes when you shake it, it rattles.
Oh yeah.
And it was shaking it. Well, we ran. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, we ran, scared us. I ran in first. Well, he was running hard as he could, and the thing started laughing.
Oh,
It was the weirdest laugh you'd ever heard. I mean, it was eerie.
ugh.
Yeah, it almost sounds evil.
Yes. And you know, my grandpa never believed in that stuff really. He was more skeptical, but he was never home all the time. And well, he got a I'm sorry, I was reading that message. I've seen your name on it. I'll throw it up there. He was always gone from the house. He was a professional logger. That's what he done. That's how he made his living then. And one night he was running late, and he went out to feed the pigs late at night. He was running late, and whenever he was feeding the pigs, he noticed that there was something that did not belong with the baby pigs. It looked like a human, but it had hog hair all over it with like a pig's head, and it jumped up and ran off on two legs. And the only thing really he ever said about it is he told us that, and he always said, I'm not going to feed the pigs at night no more. But Grandpa was really, you know, he was hard-headed as far as like getting him to, you know, just to talk about it. He would just say, oh, I'm not going to feed them at night no more. And he had told us that, you know, that story, and we always called it the pig man, you know, in the hog pasture. And I don't know what that was. I have no idea what that was.
Guys, my phone, the battery for some reason is at 1%. It's about to die. Before it does, I want to answer Frida's question.
Okay.
The importance of only one track with each creature is it's a calling card. It's just to make her aware she's marked now. Period.
Great.
She is marked. They can get at her whenever they want. And in my opinion, there is someone or something controlling them. And we need to figure out what it is that brought this on. And if we can figure that out, then figure out what we can do to alleviate the situation. But
Right, yeah.
Well, I will be super aware of my surroundings at all times. I can guarantee you that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if she's not going to start having more trouble around her house.
she will. She will.
Mm.
You know.
And I apologize for the phone dying like it is. I don't know why it is. It's been plugged in the whole time. Even when I was outside, I have a plug right beside where I was sitting, and I had it plugged in, charging. It should have maintained at least 90% battery. I had 98 when we started this, but something is absolutely killing it.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's been a hard night to go live. I may have to just next time use my my phone like I am now. That way I can use different VPNs. It seems like it's working pretty good now, right? We don't have the lag or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It is.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't start seeing a lot more things probably around her house.
I hope not. I'm laughing out of nervousness.
Yeah, as much as
That's
I
the
hate
last
to
thing
say,
I want.
I'm sure she is going to start seeing more.
Oh, man.
You know, once they've got their calling card like that, it's going to get worse before it gets better.
We got something going on, Kirk, in the chat. Somebody said we were disrespected or something. Let me see if I can find it right here. I'm not sure. I'm sure Brandy took care of it. She's a good moderator. If it needed to be took care of, I didn't notice anything. It's hard for me to keep up with the chat and talk and everything. I get to talking, guys, and I don't watch the chat. You know, Another thing too is her being by that Air Force base. She could probably, and I'm not saying she's going to because I don't want to get anybody watching or anything, but she could probably go out there with the camera and probably catch a lot of things that we're probably not able to catch. I'm not saying that that's something she should do, and you know,
I'm just ornery enough to try something like that. Trust me.
You know, and you know, I mean, your dogs. Do your dogs go outside, or do they like not want to go outside? Has anything changed with your dogs?
She will not go out back. She will not go outside out the patio door here. It's the entrance to go outside, out back where that footprint was. She will not go out there. So I have to go upstairs and go out the front to let her go to the restroom. She won't do it.
Do you keep this in mind? The human eye sees 16 to 24 frames a second is all we can see. Okay, cameras, there are actually cameras that are up to 1 million frames a second. It's quite common in the cryptid world and also in the UFO world that they use higher shutter speeds. They use somewhere around 1,000 frames a second to be able to actually see stuff that we cannot see with our eyes. And that's how a lot of these things get caught, by using a higher shutter speed on your camera.
Hey, check this out, Kurt. I'd like to talk to this guy.
Imagine that. I'd like to talk to him also because I know exactly what happened.
Yeah, Vincent, send me a email. I think me and Kurt might have had a conversation about this about a week ago, about vehicles being, I guess, impounded for insurance purposes, and we know it wasn't that. But and then April Black says she has something also, I guess, that's going on. How would the person discuss this with them? No.
April will help you in any way that we can.
Yeah, send us an email. Even if you want your story told, you want to remain anonymous, we can definitely take care of that.
Yeah.
You know, Shelly, it seems like, see, you haven't had trouble all this time, right?
Mm-mm.
So it makes me wonder what made her attract something. That's why I was asking her if maybe she fed her dogs outside, or
No.
No, actually, this started happening when she was listening to us here in the group, and I was also interacting on the phone with her, and it was on one particular subject when we started having the technical trouble that this started happening with her also.
Yeah. That's very true.
Yep.
And you, well, we're not going to talk about your work hours, but you work different hours in the capacity that you work. And so, I mean, the one thing is, since your hours aren't routine, you would have a possibility of even walking up on this thing coming home.
Yep.
But that thought has occurred to me. Yeah, that thought has occurred to me. So I have a a very large knife I keep in my car. I have a gun that I keep in my purse at all times. Like I said, I'm ex-law enforcement, so I'm not afraid to use these things.
Right.
I just don't want to get overconfident because I really don't know what I'm dealing with. So, you know, like I said,
It's too early in what's going on for her to have that happen yet. It would not surprise me for her to have it happen probably 6 months to a year down the road, though.
I have a feeling, does it have anything to do with me being a quarter Native American?
Well, the shamans would say yes.
Because I'm Navajo.
Ooh.
You know, Navajo.
Uh-huh.
Well, see, there we go.
Oh God, here we go.
There we go again.
All right.
Trigger warning. I learned something today. See, I'm always learning. See, I learned me something.
Did you?
Yeah, I learned me something.
All right.
I found out that the Navajo and the Cherokee. Here you go. And I know that Kurt's going to get on this trigger warning. They were doing seances in the hills of Oklahoma with the witches and the warlocks.
Yep.
Okay. Witches and warlocks were teaching the shaman black magic.
Yep.
Now, the shaman from the native tribes at the time did not know that these witches and warlocks were teaching them black magic. They thought it was good magic. They were being deceived.
Oh boy.
Yep.
And when they learned this magic, they had to, a little bit at a time, they wanted more and more and more and more. And then that's whenever they found out they could have these circles and they could call in a demon and then place this demon in a flesh and blood body. We'll say that. And they could control this demon in this flesh and blood body. Now, that's what they say. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just saying that, you know, that's what they've told me when I talk to them during, you know, investigations. They very much, I mean, there was a man that was bit by his own brother during a ceremony, and the bite mark on him was not human. The doctors at the hospital wanted to know what kind of animal bit him, and they even called a veterinarian in, and the veterinarian had no idea what it was, but he said, it is not a human bite. But the brother of his brother said his brother bit him.
Wow. Well, like I said, I don't know anybody that's connected to witchcraft. I'm not aware of I haven't been to a powwow in quite some time.
But wait. You've been to a powwow.
Long time ago.
I ain't going to go. I'm not going to go into.
This was like back in 2003. It wasn't
Right.
even in the state.
Okay, here we go. Wow. Okay, trigger
You're
warning
scaring
again.
me. Huh?
They say that whenever they have these powwows, they do different powwows for different meanings. They have what they call a dance is called bringing in the spirits. They have a war dance. They have all kinds of different meanings. When they do this on this ground, that ground is considered holy ground, sacred ground when they do these dances. And the shaman were telling me one time that a lot of these tribes, they will do these dances, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm Cherokee. I enjoy going to the powwows, but there are certain powwows and certain dances that they will do that are forbidden. And there can be attachments that can follow you home, you know.
Well, like I said, that was 2003 in New Jersey. So, and I've never had anything happen.
Say that what she's going through now is not something to do with that. It has something to do with what has happened recently. And I think we're going to need to talk a little bit more about that. And the term collateral damage comes to mind.
Right. And it could be her, you know, her neighbor over there with all the airplanes and stuff, you know.
Right.
Because I really don't think they care if they lose some of them, you know.
Right.
And maybe they're doing it on purpose just to see how they react, or, you know, the survivability, or, you know, what, you know, kind of like, you know, let's let it go and find out what happens.
Wow. Well,
And that's actually why I think we had the Gulfway swim ashore in New York in 1963, was simply because they wanted to see what would happen with them turned loose.
Hey, the guy that drowned in our lake, whenever they went down there, he said, and I've told Kirk the story, 2 eyes on both sides of his boat under the water that were red right before they capsized.
oh,
The 2 children did not survive.
oh,
They were found under a log with leaves on top of them and sticks.
stashed for later dinner or something.
That's what people thought.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really weird. One of the guys, he kept saying, something capsized us. He never would say we capsized. Something capsized us.
And I have no doubt on that.
You know,
That's wild.
oh, yeah. I mean, I take my boat out all the time with my daughter, Kaylee. You know, we run trot lines and jug lines and stuff. And the other day, she's like, Dad, it really makes me have a weird feeling sticking my hand down in the water, you know, something reach up and grab me, you know.
Yeah.
And it does make you kind of, you know, it runs through your mind when you're out there. I mean, we have things here in my part of Oklahoma that we've never had. They're pulling 10-foot alligators now out of our water. We
Yep.
have never had alligators here, never.
Wow.
And now we're having alligators up in our area of the state, and we've never had alligators. I mean, that was just something we just did not have,
Right.
and now we do. And it just shows that these things are shifting. There's a movement, and nobody knows, I don't think, why they're doing this, but there's a migration of these animals. And like the green face thing I seen when we were fishing, nobody ever talked about seeing anything like that down there. It was always, you know, Sasquatch or, you know, a werewolf. They call it, not Dogman. They call it a werewolf. You never heard of a reptilian man. But then all of a sudden, people start seeing this, you know, they call it a lizard man, or, you know,
Yep.
they call it, this fish guy, this fish man. He came, and people didn't know really, I guess, how to explain it, because it had fish scales all over it. The smell, it was green, it was slimy, it had scales. I saw its face one night. My mom saw it. My family seen it, and we'd never seen anything like that before. So I have no idea what it was. That would have scared me to death right there.
Yeah, I would have jumped out of my skin.
She's my-
But, you know,
woo.
it's just, I think we have a new person here tonight, too. Kiss My Grits. I like the name.
Yeah.
Since there's so many natives in here, can anyone tell me how to go about getting my daughter, Creek Choctaw, her Indian rights? Yes. Contact your local Indian authority, and they will give you the paperwork. And if you don't know how to fill the paperwork out, they will actually help you research it. Yeah, I've went through that and going through that right now for my daughter. Surely he'll call Kirk too. Somebody I think is going to call you, Kirk. I'm not sure what's going on. And there's a good theory, you know, paranormal says, you know, dinosaurs were on the planet for hundreds of millions of years, and we can't say that they didn't evolve. And I think that's a good theory. I think it's a very good theory.
Okay.
You know,
hang on.
there we go. I knew her.
Right now. Everybody has heard of dragons,
Yes.
correct? Were they real?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of literature on them.
In 2021, there was a dragon skeleton that was 60 foot long unearthed in China. What is the significance of that? And why would we say it's a dragon and not a dinosaur? because it carbon dated back to 1500 AD. Means
Right.
it was alive 500 years ago.
Hey, not to interrupt you right now, but I need to do something. Brandy, could you take care of this guy? Go ahead, Kurt.
Okay, this creature was alive 500 years ago. It was 60 foot long, it had a long tail, and it had wings.
Wow.
So, with that being said, was it a dragon? Was it a relic dinosaur? There are no dinosaurs known that match the skeleton that they got. And the skeleton was completely intact. It was excavated. The government of China does now have it in their national museum. And, as far as you're afraid an alligator will show up in Minnesota, I think it's too cold for it. But last year there was a great white shark that was caught and actually killed just slightly south of St. Louis, Missouri, in the Mississippi.
Paranormal has
bull shark?
No, it was a great white shark.
Didn't know they can
Great
go into
white sharks were not thought to be able to go into fresh water, but that one proved that it actually could.
Oh.
Hey, Kurt, another thing, I'm glad you brought that up. A lot of people don't know this. Here in Oklahoma, we have a actual open seaport. And I know that sounds weird being in Oklahoma, but we do have a seaport, and it's considered an open seaport that is controlled by the Coast Guard. I worked with them down there and had Coast Guard security clearance. We had the largest vault in Oklahoma that we secured. What people don't know, the bull shark has actually migrated up into the Mississippi and is also living in fresh water. And they believe by the year by 35, it will be possibly in the Verdigris River, and it's adapting right now as we speak. I mean, so you're looking at a freshwater shark.
Yeah, they actually believe that it'll be in the Great Lakes by 2040.
Great.
And, Dana, I guess she had heard the same thing that I. But yeah, they're adapting, and
correct.
But if those things are moving in, what else is moving in?
Exactly.
Because when the food chain moves, everything follows it.
Right.
Brandy, if you're having trouble with your moderator rights, you will have to sign in through YouTube, I believe, to be able to have them if you're not signed in through it. Is that right, Kurt? Because Cal was having trouble with that.
Yep, you've got to sign in through YouTube.
So that might be why we're seeing different things in different areas. Footprints, went from Bigfoot footprints to where people are now finding werewolf footprints. Things are shifting.
Yep.
To where, Sharon, I can see the chats a little bit. I'm on my phone. They're a little bit smaller. I'm trying to keep up with them. I'm sorry if I missed something.
Sharon, no, I cannot see other than what the moderator actually puts up.
A bad scenario, and I was just thinking about this. If you're in an area to where a lot of people think, Bigfoot's not going to bother you if you don't go corner it, and I was taught that too. If you leave it alone, he might be curious, he might mess around, but he's not going to hurt you. But if everything's migrated and you're going to sleep one night and you're like, well, it's Bigfoot, he doesn't bother us, he's just going to come around, and it ends up being a werewolf,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say at Hank's house, Hank had Sasquatch for about 3 years, and just one weekend, Sasquatch got ran out by a Dogman.
Really?
And literally,
wow.
that Dogman ran him off, and that's when Hank started losing his livestock.
Wow.
And see, and that makes me wonder about things because, like Colorado, you remember what we discussed about that? Remember all the killings they're having on the cattle.
Yep.
The ranchers were saying this is not wolves. We don't have wolves in this location. Then
Right.
I don't know what they call them in Colorado, if they're DNR or wildlife management, but the game wardens that are here, they were saying, "Oh no, it's wolves that we introduced." Yeah, right. Wolves with footprints this big around. You know,
Yeah.
they're walking bipedal.
Yeah, and I've never seen a wolf
Right.
use a scalpel.
Yeah. Oh, and we forgot one, Kurt. They have two large bite marks right in their jugular vein, and they never miss.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's some
We got
pretty
to watch
smart.
about that.
Yeah, that's some pretty smart wolves right there.
Yeah, that's like
Yep.
that was happening a lot down there in the Los Animas area, like Warford County, Los Animas County, and I think that's kind of close to the great sand dunes, national sand dunes too, park down there. That was happening an awful lot.
Wow.
But the game wardens here, what they'll do is they'll come up with some of the dumbest reasons to close parks.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was too much mud.
Oh
Too
yeah.
much. That was honestly, God, was an excuse for one. It's like, no, something's up there. They don't want anybody going up there. Too much mud. That's a four-wheeler's dream. Come on, you know.
And you know another thing I was thinking about too. The old saying may have more to do than just about bears. Don't feed the bears.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Don't gift the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You know, because there was a story me and Kirk read, and it gave me goosebumps. A guy was asleep one night with his kid in their tent. He wakes up because he hears something unzipping, and his son is being pulled out of the tent in his sleeping bag slowly by something. And he jumps up and yells and grabs a 357, shoots through the tent. Of course, it drops him and runs off. But it was trying to steal his kid sleeping right next to him in a tent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was that? A Bigfoot or was that a Wolfman?
They never said.
We don't know because he didn't actually see it. He saw the son being pulled out.
Wow.
He jumped up and just indiscriminately fired at the front of the tent above the height of the child.
Wow.
And if he wouldn't have woke up, what would have happened to that kid?
Chomp chomp.
Never been seen again.
Another Dennis Martin?
Yep. Exactly.
Let me share this with you, and I know you're going to enjoy this one. I talked to a guy that alleged, and I'm going to use alleged because I don't know, he alleged that he was the uncle of Dennis Martin. He told me that the Green Berets did not come in to save Dennis Martin.
No.
They came in to make sure Dennis Martin and whatever killed him never came out.
Right.
Because Dennis Martin had seen too much. And then he tells me that Dennis Martin's family, a generation before this family, were actually paid by the government to hunt these creatures and the feral people in the national parks. And he said he knew it was just a matter of time before one of their family members was taken.
Yep. Yep.
Wow.
And that does coincide with some of the answers that I've got on the research that I've done on it. Dennis Martin's father, unfortunately, is long dead now, so we're never going to know the truth from him. But if you dig into it, you really can't find where the man had any type of job, shall we say, that paid a lot of money, but yet the family seemed to have more than what they should have for the amount of money that they were making.
Okay, somebody's trolling. Who's trolling, guys? And I'll take care of it right now. They're saying everybody's calling for mods to grab somebody. So I'm looking. If you just let me know, guys, who it is, and I'll take care of it. Football Cat says Nick Chuck.
Yeah, I saw somebody said that he was being perverted earlier.
Nick Chuck is.
I don't know.
Okay, we'll watch for that and see what's going on. They said it's known that they did find Dennis Martin. See, and that's what the uncle told me, that he was found and he was burnt with the bodies of the creatures that killed him.
Right.
And they say that the family knows this, but they never would come out with it.
Well, they couldn't keep me shut up. That's for sure.
Oh no, that if they, no, you touch my kid and.
Oh yeah, I'll hunt you down.
Yeah. Leave the kids, I mean, and whenever they say that they didn't come to save him, that's a really scary thought if you think about it. They're not coming to save you. They're coming to make sure that you don't make it out.
I know that's right up there with, if you don't have the integrity, don't put the uniform on. That's my opinion.
Well, and once more, the best thing I can compare that to is Benghazi. We had the chance to save those soldiers, and our president and our Secretary of State decided to let them die.
Yeah.
And hey, you worked on the Godsey case, right? You went
Very
there.
much so.
I heard that his family had reported to law enforcement several times, along with another witness that was living there, that something new had came into the area and was making unhuman noises.
Correct.
The witness up on the hill by the cave that was collaborating, I guess, what the other people were saying, he ends up missing.
That I was unaware of. When did he come up missing? I'm going to assume that he came up missing after I was there. A lot of people were not very forthcoming with information when I was there. Simply, I'm going to say because I was looked at as an outsider. But then I did get to talk to some people that were very forthcoming with information, even though they knew that they were jeopardizing their livelihood. The Godsey kid, 100%, it was a Dogman that took him. It was a Dogman that feasted upon him. He was partially consumed. When they found the body, the blood was still uncoagulated and actually was wet on the sheet that they covered the body up with. That being
Nick Chuck is gone, guys. I got rid of him. Nick Chuck's gone. Didn't you? You also said, remember, they tried to say that his body was intact.
Right, and it was not. I talked to the man that drove it in the ambulance to the hospital and then drove it from the hospital to the funeral home. And he said point blank, it had been consumed on. Ooh. That the point of the most damage was the midsection, as if all his organs were eaten.
Good grief. Well, look at James McNeilis. His head was removed, placed underneath his left arm at a pond and they never found all of him. And I
Right.
spoke to his dad. I actually spoke to his dad directly, and he told me that it was better that the body was found in the backyard, is what he was told, than at the pond.
Yep.
Now, don't mean to interrupt you guys, but guess whose phone just got messed with?
Yours?
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I can't get off of that screen. It won't let
Wow.
me do anything on it.
Wow.
Well,
Now you're a full-fledged member.
nothing.
Welcome to the initiation.
Now you're a full-fledged member.
Wow.
Nothing you have now is a secret.
Wow.
You know, whenever I covered that case, I spoke to IMSA, the IMSA drivers, the first responders that arrived. And they told me that case was so not even protocol that the game wardens were running the murder scene. And for a long time, I couldn't understand why the game wardens would be running a murder scene. And you know, Shelly, that that's not their job.
No.
And they weren't allowing first responders to the backyard. They weren't allowing the ambulance drivers back. They weren't allowing nobody. They had stopped it. And they didn't allow none of them to the backyard until they had brought the body to the backyard.
Exactly right.
And then you get black helicopters flying over that the neighbor records and sends me the recording of them firing automatic gunfire from helicopters. And they called the sheriff's department. And they said it was okay because they'd already spoke to him and it was a live fire drill. No, not over civilian population. Not over civilian population.
No.
Yeah, that's never going to happen. Wow. They must really think we're
You know, that
stupid.
same thing happened at a park in Delaware in 2018.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And quite frankly, it was live fire over a park in a very heavily populated area.
They've lost their friggin' minds.
You know,
What?
probably what they were doing, I'm guessing, is they were getting rid of the problem. Because even the neighbor, I spoke to the neighbor next door, and she said they was outside on the porch having a birthday party for her mom. They never heard this child scream. They never heard a dog fight. And right across the road from them is a dog pound. And they said anytime a dog barks in town or you slam your door, you know, she said, and this is her words, quote, they raise hell. And she said the dogs never even made any noises. They were all inside of their houses. That almost sounds to me like they were afraid.
Uh-huh.
Sure they were.
The people at the pound, they were ordered, not asked, ordered not to take samples from the dogs that they had blamed done it, but to destroy them over the weekend. They were burnt.
Well, and that's what they did with the dogs in the Godsey case. And point blank, 5 dogs they destroyed. There wasn't a damn one that was big enough to inflict anywhere near the damage. I mean, my God, the one dog was a French bulldog. You had a couple corgis. You had a standard poodle and a Labrador.
Those corgis are pretty vicious. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, the family, and I'm going to put this where I'm not going to get myself in trouble. In my opinion, the family was not a wealthy family. The family was, from my observation, were a poor family. And there's nothing wrong with that. People have hard times.
No.
But after this incident happened with their son, they're living on a beautiful farm, a beautiful house, brand new cars, and they posted themselves. They are living their dream now.
Well, you know, some people have a price. Some people don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I really don't have a price.
No, they have.
You know,
Right's right, wrong's wrong. Never shall it change.
Kristen says, so they found the body of Dennis Martin, question marks. Allegedly, some of the family said that they were contacted that he was found and he was destroyed with whatever had, I guess,
Right.
killed him.
Right. Do we know that to be a fact? No. That is
No.
what has been reported, though, by some of the family members.
Wow.
It's sad and it's scary. I mean,
Yeah.
how far will they go to hide the truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
As far as they need to.
Guys, I think we've kept everybody on here long enough tonight. We're over 2 hours, and I know Shelly has to work. She pulls long hours.
Yeah,
And,
I gotta go keep the dog out before it gets
Yeah,
up there.
yeah. Be careful letting the dog out.
I'm going to.
Very much so.
I want to thank everybody, though, for joining us tonight. We had a good conversation. I felt like it was a good, productive night. I enjoyed it. Shelly, thank you for being on the show with us tonight.
My pleasure.
You know, I thought we had a really good conversation tonight. I enjoyed it a whole lot. Kurt, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
And to everybody, you know, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And I'll let Kirk have the last word as usual. And Shelly, if you have anything you'd like to say, and then we'll end it.
Just thank you all.
Guys, biggest thing, keep your head on a swivel, stay safe, and we hope to see you next time. God bless and good night.